Hello, hello, everyone. Mostly clanmates. Captain Happy here, bringing another Jutland game. I didn't publicly post it, but I have a couple clanmates grinding the British DD line, and thought I could help out by offering. Full disclosure, right off the bat, with the situation everyone's going through, I hope you don't mind the extreme unprofessionalism of background noise. My wife and daughter are currently making cookies in the kitchen, so there will be perhaps a little bit going on in the background, but hopefully it is not too bad, and I can edit some of it out if necessary. Um, this game, I ended up doing a little bit, and you'll see in not too long with the free cam, and that is for two main reasons. The first being, I don't know if many of you watched, I don't remember exactly which one it was, but a Flamu video where if in game you follow your torpedoes, when you play back the replay, the camera cuts to a random part of the ocean following an imaginary torpedo. So I needed to do some free camera work to gloss over those. There's a second reason that I did some free cam work, and I won't give it away because it's kind of uh, an interesting climax to this battle, but I'll leave it at that. So primarily, what I've enjoyed about the this line is your ability to really push in. Um, I wouldn't quite go so far as to say you can bully DDs, although I have, and in this game I actually take my licks, but bully around an enemy gearing a little bit. But your detection is competitive with the best detection of any DD. And so it really gives you, in combination with the IFHE changes, which means you can now take RPF with no concerns. RPF, quick smokes, hydro, low detection all mean that you can really push in, and you do have to be concerned with radars. But with regards to CVs, and there's a CV in this match, I rely much more heavily on my quick smokes to evade CVs. They don't tend to stick around even for the 30-second duration. Here, first torp spread at the enemy Amagi. You see I sent 3 on the one side. Now I'm looking at the minimap. Excuse me. He has plenty of time to make that hard right turn and come back towards the middle. So I sent the 3 torps first, and then the remainder to the other side in case he keeps going. I'll edit that out in post. Sure. Um, you can see, though, maybe I could have sent a bit wider spread and had some more luck. I was kind of hoping he would stay closer to that island. He pushes out wide. But the point is, the guess was not that far off. So instead of pushing into the middle here, the Amagi's coming close. And I know there's a DD, thank you RPF, but he hasn't been spotted yet, and I haven't been detected yet, so I figure maybe I can ambush this Amagi if he pushes around. And that is when, holy moly, hello Mr. Gearing. And he is not quite close enough for me to pick up on Hydro. But for obvious reasons, I'll pop my Hydro because it is very possible him not knowing I'm here, he will spin back around and I can detect him with my Hydro and use my smoke to fire on him and be relatively safe. Obviously be relatively safe from his torpedoes. Okay, second of the replay bugs, but this one's an old one. Forgive me for these first couple of engagements with the gearing. Because of that real choppy thing that the replay does, it is kind of annoying to try and watch. Anyway, so he comes back into Hydro range, so hooray. I get a bunch of free damage here. Spot his torpedoes. Okay, they're not coming from me, which is good. I can keep kind of a firing angle until right here. But I also preemptively warning my teammates that are to the south of me. That Amagi doesn't seem to want to push, and right here, I end up in proximity detection range, which I wait for about 10 seconds because nobody can shoot me. I'm still spotting the gearing, and then I realize right here, okay, planes are a threat if I sit here, and I can still spot the gearing with my hydro and not be proxy spotted myself. So it took me a minute to work that out, but I decided to pull out a little bit from the island. Hopefully someone could shoot at him. It doesn't look like anyone's able to. So my thinking right here, the Amagi appears to be continuing to push, so I want to kind of create an angle where if he does, I can still torp him, but at this point, I have another smoke ready to go. I still have a minute left on my hydro. I was hoping the gearing was going to come in the direction I'm coming now, and I could kind of repeat what just happened and use my smoke to to shoot him while undetected. Um, right here, that's what this was in anticipation of. And I wasn't paying close enough attention to see that he was actually moving away. So I popped my smoke preemptively and did it by mistake. Another example of single launch torps I like, you can fire at multiple targets. I don't believe these have a lot of luck, and you will see why right here. A mistake number one during this game. So because I used the preemptive smoke, I don't have another one ready for 30 seconds. And the gearing comes out from around the corner within range to spot me and start shooting at me. So those torps at the Amagi are going to miss because they're spotted. But you notice I'm not shooting back. And I'm not shooting back because I am relatively confident, sure enough, that I can get outside of 5.7 and get undetected. Fortunately, the Montana takes a nice chunk out of me for my troubles there. But I get away. There's the Smolensk. Smolensk goes down here any second. Yep, right there. So now the Smolensk is no longer an issue. I have a smoke ready. I don't have a hydro ready quite yet, but right here I decide, okay, the only threats are a retreating Montana and an Amagi who's preoccupied. So I'm going to force the issue with this gearing. And right here, because I don't have hydro, I wait for him to shoot. There we go. Pop my smoke. And I know because of my Brindisi down south, he's going to stay spotted. The gearing is. So without hydro, kind of same kind of deal, except using my teammates to keep an enemy spotted while I clean him up.
Torpedoes, direct front.
There we go. No hydro needed. So that one is one where pretty much the engagement I had anticipated from the moment I decided to go after him, that my nose was going to be pointed at him, so I was already set up in reasonable position to not eat any of those torpedoes. So, with the gearing dead, I now have pretty much only the CV planes to worry about. So, full steam ahead. Charge right at this Amagi. Use my wonderful single launch torps that to this point I haven't had any successful salvos yet. Coming up here is one of the areas where I cut and I switched the camera position to a free cam. I did do it on 2 separate replays, so there is a bit of a transition from one to the other. But this one was where I did break a rule and follow my torpedoes, but in the replay it didn't work out. So I get spotted by the planes here, and I hit my AA, and I'm like, alright, well, I'm going to get rid of these torps. You notice, every single torp except for the very first one, I shot behind. Because the Amagi has seemed capable of understanding what WASD keys do in this game, at least to this point. But because I threw my torpedoes behind the line, it compensated reasonably well for him slowing down and now accelerating a little bit, but not before he eats 1, 2, 3, 4 and is dead. Another great example there of why I like single launch torps, not just because of the spread, or not just because of multiple targets or anything like that. But right there, had those just been two spreads, I probably could have still killed them, but there's also a probability that they're all arriving at the same time, and it gives ships a chance to turn in and maybe avoid more than they should. So at this point, no threat. Enemy CV has largely let me alone, so I had no fear of just open firing on this Monty. You can see, even without IFHE, or now not needing IFHE, averaging about 400-500 damage each salvo, which isn't spectacular. Um, but it's workable, and it's certainly worth not needing the 4 points now, and being able to put that into RPF. At least that's the most valuable for me. But right here, oh boy, look what showed up. Now, I don't know about anyone else. I am not a CV player. I don't like CVs. I enjoy killing them very much. So this is I'm chomping at the bit when I see the CV here. But I'm flipping the cap right next to him. He's got planes right there. And for some reason, he's completely ignoring me. Now, I think my friendly BB to the south of me, I think he's kind of low. I don't know. I actually didn't end up checking. So I think he might be sending torp planes after him and not worrying about me. But his indifference continues despite being spotted. That's when the enemy Brindisi shows up. So I know I can't just charge at the CV. I've got to get within range right here. Now again, notice the spread. Now I do miscalculate. I send 5 right at his position, thinking he hasn't moved yet. He's probably not going to. 2 behind if he hits reverse, and then 3 if he starts to accelerate. And then I get out of there. I would have sent more just at him if the Brindisi wasn't there. But I know the Brindisi was going to spot him. And see, right there. So this CV now knows that these are coming. The miscalculation I make is I send 5 at his original position, thinking that was enough damage to kill him. When actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he's left on 915 HP. So, naturally, what I try to do, I try to shoot him to finish him off, but I'm just getting outside of range. I start getting shot at. I take damage, and right here, I'm pausing it right here, because I just lost the gun, but that salvo that you can just barely see right there is the last salvo I get off. So let's see what happens. Oh, I got another damage. Nope, here it comes. Yeah. Right on the tail end, just to finish it off. And because that was so enjoyable, here's another angle following the last 2 rounds. There we go. And that actually put us over the top point-wise. So the game ended that way. Hopefully there's a couple more helpful hints there, but I was just a fan of the ending.